Good morning to all. Welcome for the today's session. Today we are going to discuss about signal design for band limited channels for zero intersymbol interference. Okay. So first let us discuss about what is intersymbol interference. Right. So before entering into this design of band limited signals, we need to know what is intersymbol interference. So this is intersymbol interference is nothing but it is an unwanted symbol and it should be completely eliminated to get a clean output. Okay. So some of the methods we need to use to remove the ISI effect. Okay, so we for example we can apply an equalizer at the receiver, and so that it will neglect the effect of the channel ISI by applying a inverse filter. And also we can use the Nyquist ISI criteria, which will describe the conditions which when satisfied by a communication channel. The result is nil intersymbol interference. So based on this knowledge, now let us discuss about the design of band limited signals for zero intersymbol interference. Okay, so in the previous video we clearly discussed about how we are transmitting the digital pulse amplitude modulated signal into a band limited channel, and in the receiver side what are the processes happened to recover the original signal. So in respect to this prior video, let us write the mathematical expression such a way that V of t is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity an into gt of t minus nt. And we can write the output of the channel. So the output of the channel is which is received signal at the demodulator, and it is also expressed that R of t is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity am into h of t minus nt plus n of t. Okay, R of t is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity am into h of t minus nt plus n of t, where we can say the h of t, we know that the convolution of c of t and gt of t. Therefore c of t is nothing but the impulse response of the channel, and gt of t is the impulse response of the transmitting filter. So these expressions are derived and we analyzed in the prior video, it is the palm transmission and recover. Okay, so now n of t is nothing but sample function of an additive white Gaussian noise process. So here we are going to consider the problem of designing a band limited transmitting filter. So the design will be done first under the condition that there is no channel distortion. We are assuming that there is no channel distortion, and we are designing a first condition. Okay, and later we will consider the problem of filter design when the channel distorts the transmitted signal. Therefore, we know that h of f is equal to c of f into gt of f. Okay, therefore the condition for distortion free transmission is the frequency response characteristics c of f of the channel will have constant magnitude. Okay, first condition what we need to assume the distortion free transmission channel. So under that condition the frequency response characteristics, that is c of f of the channel, will have a constant magnitude, and the second condition is it will have a linear phase over the bandwidth of the transmitted signal. So based on these two conditions we can define that c of f is equal to c naught into e power minus j2 pi f into t naught, that is modulus of f less than or equal to w, and 0, that is modulus of f greater than W. Here W is the available channel bandwidth and T0 will represent the arbitrary finite delay, and this T0 will be set to 0 for the convenient. Okay, and this C0 is a constant gain factor which we will set to unity for the analyzing purpose. Thus, under the condition that the channel is distortion free, we can define h of f is equal to gt of f for modulus of f less than or equal to w, and 0 for modulus of f greater than w. Consequently, we can go for the matched filter frequency response. The frequency response of the matched filter, it is h of f is equal to gt of f for f less than or equal to w, and the output will be sampled at times, that is t is equal to mt, and this will have the form y of mt is equal to x of 0 into am. Okay, because am plus summation n is not equal to m, an into x of m into t minus nt plus v of mt. Okay, so this can be written as here the middle term. See here, the middle term of this above equation will represent the intersymbol interference. So the amount of intersymbol interference and noise that is present in the received signal can be viewed on an oscilloscope. Okay, in the laboratory, if we are doing this experiment, we can observe it. Therefore, we can display the received signal on the vertical input with the horizontal sweep rate will be set at 1 by capital T. So the resulting oscilloscope display is called an eye pattern because its resemblance to the human eye. Therefore, we can see the examples of two eye patterns, one for binary palm and other for quaternary, that is m is equal to 4. So this is called as binary. Okay, once the oscilloscope output is like this, that time the value of capital M will be 2. So this is the quaternary output. So followed by that, we will be calling this one as right here optimum sampling time and distortion of zero crossing. Zero crossing means no, whenever the modulated signal crosses the 0. Okay, so this portion is called as what? Distortion of zero crossing, and this portion is called as noise margin, and this is peak distortion and the sensitivity of the timing error. Okay, so everybody understood this. We are calling it as eye pattern only because the intersymbol interference and noise will present in the received signal. We can view only through the oscilloscope. Therefore, the transmitted signal along with the ISI symbol as well as the N of T is acquire in a resemblance of eye. So we were calling it as eye pattern. So eye pattern can be a binary or can be a quaternary. Okay. Hope everyone understood this topic. Thank you.